Commander Alex Johnson stood on the bridge of the UEA Frontier, staring at the unusual readings flashing across his console. The ship had been on a routine patrol through the outer systems when the strange energy signatures first appeared. "Dr. Carter, what do you make of this?" Alex asked, gesturing to the science officer beside him. Lisa Carter frowned at her display, her fingers dancing across the controls as she refined the sensor sweep. "I've never seen anything like it, Commander. The energy pattern doesn't match any known civilization in our database. Hostile. Unknown. But whatever it is, it's old. Really old." Alex nodded and made his decision. "Helm, set course for the source. Let's see what we're dealing with." As the Frontier altered course, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that they were about to discover something important. After 3 weeks of uneventful patrol, even a mysterious energy reading was a welcome change. The journey took 4 days, leading them to an uncharted region near a dying star. What they found there left the entire crew speechless. "My God," whispered Lisa as the main view screen displayed the scene before them. "That's not a debris field." What had initially appeared as scattered wreckage orbiting the red giant star was something else entirely. Thousands of vessels, darkened and dormant, floated in perfect formation around the dying sun. "Get me a closer look," Alex ordered, his voice tight with excitement and apprehension. The Frontier moved cautiously through the edge of the formation. The ships were unlike anything they had seen before. Sleek, asymmetrical designs with no visible propulsion systems or weapons ports. They ranged in size from small single-pilot craft to enormous vessels that dwarfed even the largest Alliance carriers. "Running scans now," Lisa reported. "The metal alloys are—" "Wait, that can't be right." She recalibrated her instruments and tried again. "Commander, according to these readings, these ships are at least 100,000 years old." A stunned silence fell over the bridge. "That's impossible," said Ryan Davis, the communications officer. "No known species had achieved spaceflight that long ago. Not even the Arcturians, and they're the oldest civilization we've encountered." Lisa shook her head. "The data doesn't lie. And there's something else. These ships aren't derelict or abandoned. They're dormant, waiting." Alex felt a chill run down his spine. Waiting for what? "I don't know. But they still have power, just at minimal levels. And look at this." She transferred an image to the main screen showing strange symbols etched into the hull of the nearest vessel. "Can you translate it?" Alex asked. "No, nothing in our database matches. But there's something familiar about it." For 3 days, they studied the ancient fleet from a safe distance. When Alex reported their findings to Alliance Command, the response was disappointing but not surprising. "Space junk," Admiral Wilson called it during their video conference. "Probably leftovers from some extinct race. Interesting from an archaeological perspective, perhaps, but hardly a priority given our current resource limitations." "But sir, the technology levels indicated by these vessels could revolutionize our understanding of." "Commander Johnson," the Admiral cut him off. "I appreciate your enthusiasm, but we have real concerns to address. Document your findings and continue your patrol. A research team may be dispatched when resources permit." After the call ended, Alex found Lisa in the science lab, still analyzing the data they'd collected. "They're not taking this seriously," he told her. She didn't look up from her work. "They will. Eventually. We may not have eventually. Something about this fleet. It feels important." Lisa finally looked at him, her expression grave. "I've been running comparisons on those symbols. They don't match any known language, but certain elements share structural similarities with ancient human writing systems. It shouldn't be possible, but—" "What are you saying?" "I'm saying we need to keep studying this, off the record, if necessary." Neither of them could have known that in just 3 months, those ancient ships would be humanity's last hope for survival. The first Krell ship appeared without warning. One moment, Earth's long-range sensors showed nothing unusual. The next, A massive vessel twice the size of the largest human dreadnought materialized at the edge of the solar system. Within hours, 4 more ships joined it. "They're not responding to hails," said Ryan Davis, his voice tense as he worked the communications console aboard the UEA flagship Valiant. Admiral Nathan Ford stood with his hands clasped behind his back, watching the main display as the alien vessels moved steadily inward. "Keep trying all frequencies." 3 days after their arrival, the Krell finally responded. The alien that appeared on the view screen had gray-blue skin, multiple eyes arranged in a crescent pattern, and spoke through a translator device. "We are the Krell Dominion. Your species has expanded beyond its rightful boundaries. Surrender your colonies and return to your homeworld, and you may continue to exist under our guidance." Admiral Ford kept his expression neutral. "We welcome peaceful contact with new civilizations, but we will not surrender our sovereign territories. Perhaps we can discuss." The Krell representative made a clicking sound that the translator didn't catch. "Your primitive technology and small fleet cannot stand against us. You have 3 of your Earth days to begin evacuation of your outposts." The transmission ended abruptly. Alex Johnson and Lisa Carter watched the broadcast from the science lab of the Frontier, which had been ordered back to Earth space when the Krell arrived. "They're serious," Alex said quietly. "They really think they can just walk in and take over." Lisa nodded, her expression grim. "Based on initial scans of their ships, they might be right. Their technology is at least 50 years ahead of ours. We need to tell them about the ancient fleet." Alex insisted. "It could change everything." 24 hours later, they stood before the Alliance Emergency Council, with Admiral Ford presiding. "Commander, while I appreciate your enthusiasm, we're facing an imminent threat from a technologically superior force," Ford said after Alex finished his presentation. "You're suggesting we pin our hopes on derelict ships that may or may not work, based on a 3-day survey." "Admiral, the energy readings alone indicate technology far beyond even what the Krell have demonstrated," Lisa argued, pulling up comparative data on the display. "And there are thousands of vessels. If we could activate even a fraction." A general snorted. "And who's going to pilot them? Ghosts." Laughter rippled through the room. Alex felt his face flush but held his ground. The ships showed signs of dormant systems, not dead ones. Dr. Carter found evidence that they may be designed to recognize certain genetic markers for activation. "Human genetic markers," Lisa added quietly. The room fell silent. "That's impossible," said Ford eventually. "These ships are 100,000 years old. Humans weren't even close to space travel then. Unless," Lisa said carefully, "what we know about human history is incomplete." More laughter, louder this time. "I think we've heard enough fantasy for one day," Ford said, though his eyes showed a hint of doubt. "Our focus must be on diplomatic solutions and conventional defense strategies." As they left the council chamber, Alex's communicator beeped. A message from Ryan. "Krell ships moving toward Mars colony. Attack imminent." Within hours, the Mars settlement of New Olympus was gone, 5,000 colonists dead. The Krell message was simple. "This is your future. Submit or perish." That night, Alex found Lisa in her quarters, surrounded by data displays showing the ancient fleet. "The Krell ambassador," she said without looking up. "Did you notice the symbols on their uniform?" "No, I was too busy watching them threaten us." She pulled up an image, split screen, with one of the symbols from the ancient ships. "They're almost identical," she whispered. "Alex, whatever built those ships knew the Krell. Maybe even fought them before." Alex stared at the matching symbols, his mind racing. "We're going back," he decided, with or without permission. Alex Johnson had never stolen a ship before. Technically, he hadn't stolen the Frontier. He'd simply failed to return it from its reconnaissance mission after the emergency council meeting. That the mission was unauthorized and that he brought along only crew members who believed in the ancient fleet was beside the point. "We're approaching the coordinates," announced pilot Steve Baker, his hand steady despite the risk they were taking. ETA 5 minutes. Lisa Carter hadn't stopped working since they left Earth space 3 days ago. I've been analyzing the data. If my theory is correct, the largest vessel at the center of the formation is the command ship. The ancient fleet appeared on their view screen, still orbiting the dying star exactly as they had left it. In the chaos following the Krell attack on Mars, no one had bothered to investigate it further. "Take us in closer to the central vessel," Alex ordered. As they approached, the massive ship seemed to respond to their presence. Faint lights flickered along its hull. "It's scanning us," Lisa said, excitement in her voice. "The ship is active." Engineer Kate Miller joined them on the bridge, her expression tense. "Commander, if we're actually going to try to access that thing, we need a plan. We have no idea what's waiting inside." "We'll use the shuttle," Alex decided. "Small team. Me, Dr. Carter, you, and Security Officer Gomes." The shuttle journey to the ancient vessel was tense but uneventful. As they approached, a previously invisible seam in the hull slid open, revealing a docking bay that illuminated with soft blue light. "It's inviting us in," whispered Lisa. The interior of the ship was surprisingly intact. No dust, no signs of decay, just clean, flowing lines and surfaces made of materials none of them recognized. The air was breathable without their helmets. "This is impossible," Kate said as she scanned the surroundings. "No ship maintains atmospheric integrity after 100,000 years." They followed the illuminated pathways deeper into the vessel until they reached what appeared to be the bridge, a circular room with a raised platform at its center. "Look at this," Lisa called out, examining a console with shifting symbols. "The writing is changing, cycling through different forms. Wait, that's Latin script. It's trying different human writing systems." Kate examined a different section of the room. "Commander, I think I found something. This looks like some kind of neural interface." In the center of the platform sat a chair with a headset suspended above it. "It wants someone to connect with it," Lisa said. "Alex, your genetic markers showed the strongest response in our preliminary tests." Alex approached the chair cautiously. "If I don't make it back, tell them we tried." "Very inspiring, sir," Gomes said dryly. The moment Alex sat in the chair, the headset lowered onto his temples. Pain shot through his skull, then subsided into a warm, tingling sensation. The room around him seemed to dissolve, replaced by a featureless white space. A figure appeared before him, humanoid, composed of points of light in constant motion. Identity confirmed. Human genetic pattern recognized. "Welcome, Commander," it said in perfect English. "I am ARI, Ancient Reconnaissance Intelligence Array." "You speak our language," Alex managed to say. "I speak all human languages, past and present. I have been waiting for your return." "Return? We've never been here before." The figure tilted its head. "Not you specifically. Humanity. My creators. You have finally reached the stars again." Alex felt dizzy. "Your creators were human. That's impossible. Humans achieved spaceflight less than 300 years ago." "Incorrect. This is the 7th ascension of human civilization to space. The previous cycle ended approximately 97,400 years ago, when the beings you call the Krell nearly exterminated all human life." Outside Alex's mental connection, Lisa, Kate, and Gomes watched as the ship came fully alive around them. Systems activated, consoles illuminated, and the symbols throughout the vessel stabilized into recognizable text. "They're coming back," Kate said in awe. "Who?" asked Gomes. "The humans who built this place," Lisa replied. "Our ancestors." Alex stood frozen in the mental landscape created by ARIA, trying to process what he'd just heard. 7 civilizations, he finally managed to ask. "You're saying humans have risen and fallen 7 times?" "Correct," ARIA responded. The figure of light shifted, expanding the white space around them into a vast timeline. Stars and planets appeared, orbiting and evolving as eons passed in seconds. The first human space age began approximately 2.4 million years ago. Each civilization reached different heights before collapse. The sixth era, my creators, achieved the greatest technological advancement. Images flashed around Alex, humans manipulating gravity with a wave of their hands, consciousness transferred between bodies, ships folding space rather than traveling through it. "This can't be true," Alex whispered. "There's no evidence on Earth of these past civilizations. Time erases much, continents shift, oceans rise, and the Krell were thorough in their destruction of the sixth civilization. They bombed cities to glass. They altered Earth's climate. They hunted survivors for sport. The mental projection showed Earth burning, vast cities in ruins, and strange ships. Recognizably Krell despite being an ancient version, darkening the skies. Why? Alex asked. Why would they do this? Fear. The sixth humans had expanded to thousands of worlds. Their technology appeared as magic even to advanced species. The Krell, territorial by nature, saw humanity as an existential threat. Alex watched as the timeline continued, showing small bands of humans surviving on Earth, losing all technology, returning to primitive existence. My creators knew the end was coming. They built this fleet as a failsafe, hidden where the Krell would not look. The ships were designed to recognize human genetic patterns and to activate only when two conditions were met. Humans had returned to space, and the Krell threatened once again. Outside the neural connection, Lisa watched in amazement as holographic displays activated throughout the bridge. Data streamed across screens in a language that gradually shifted into modern English. "Kate, are you seeing this?" she called out. "The ship is giving us access to everything. Weapon systems, engines, historical records." Kate barely looked up from the engineering console she was examining. "This propulsion system, it doesn't move through space. It moves space around the ship. And the power source, it's drawing energy directly from the quantum field." On the main display, images appeared showing the ancient human civilization. Sprawling cities that dwarfed anything on modern Earth, orbital rings around multiple planets, structures that seemed to defy physics. "They were so advanced," Lisa whispered. "How could we have forgotten all this?" Back in the neural space, HFY continued the history lesson. "The Krell you face now are direct descendants of those who destroyed the sixth civilization. They have forgotten the true reason for their hatred of humans, but the instinct remains in their cultural memory. They will not stop until humanity is extinct or subjugated, and this fleet is meant to fight them." Alex asked. "Not just fight. The fleet was designed as a deterrent. My creators did not seek revenge. They sought balance. The ships contain weapons capable of destroying planets, but also technologies to protect worlds and heal ecosystems. The choice of how to use them belongs to you now." HFY's form shifted, becoming more defined, almost human-like. "Would you like to see what this ship and you are truly capable of?" Before Alex could answer, the neural interface showed him the full capabilities of the ancient fleet. Ships that could cloak entire planets, weapons that could disable technology without harming life, defense systems that predicted enemy movements before they happened. "This is why they're afraid of us," Alex realized. Even after all this time, they remember what humans could do. "Yes," HFY agreed. "And now, Commander, you must decide. Will you use this power to protect or to conquer? Will you repeat the cycle or break it?" In that moment, Alex understood the weight of the legacy he'd uncovered and the responsibility that came with it. Alex disconnected from the neural interface with a gasp, his mind still reeling from what he had learned. His team gathered around him, faces filled with concern and anticipation. "Commander, are you okay?" Lisa asked, helping him stand. "Better than okay," Alex replied, his voice steadier than he expected. "I know what these ships are now. I know what they can do." A beep from Kate's communicator interrupted them. She checked the message and her face paled. The Krell have attacked the Jupiter colony. Over 5,000 dead. Earth has officially declared war, but the Alliance fleet is outnumbered 10-1. Not anymore, Alex said firmly. Araya, can you activate more ships? The AI's voice came through the ship's speakers. Affirmative. I can bring 5 additional vessels to full power with current energy levels. More will require time to charge from the star. Do it, ordered Alex, and establish a secure channel to Admiral Ford. Getting Ford to believe them took precious minutes they didn't have, but the Admiral's desperation eventually won out over his skepticism. If what you're saying is true, Johnson, I need those ships at the Jupiter defense line immediately, Ford said, his image flickering on the view screen. We'll be there, sir, but I need you to understand. These ships aren't just powerful. They're designed specifically to counter Krell technology. Ford nodded grimly. At this point, I'll take any advantage we can get. Just get here. As the communication ended, Ryan Cooper, who had been examining the ship's communications array, looked up excitedly. Commander, I've discovered something incredible. This ship can interface directly with Krell systems. Their security protocols haven't changed in 100,000 years. Can you access their tactical networks? Alex asked. Ryan nodded. Better than that. I think I can disable their weapons remotely. The journey to Jupiter took less than an hour, a trip that would have taken days for conventional Alliance ships. The ancient vessels moved through space with impossible grace, leaving no energy signature for the Krell to detect. They arrived to find a battle already underway. 3 Alliance cruisers fought desperately against a Krell dreadnought twice their combined size. Araya. Tactical assessment, Alex commanded. Krell vessel shields at maximum. Alliance ships at critical damage levels. Recommend immediate intervention. Ryan, deploy the communications hack. Kate, ready weapon systems. Lisa, scan for survivors on the colony. The ancient flagship, which ARIA had identified as the Horizon, moved into position alongside its 5 sister ships. For a moment, the Krell dreadnought didn't seem to notice them, until Ryan activated the hack. Across the massive enemy vessel, lights flickered and died. Its weapons powered down, shields wavered, and engines stalled. Now, Kate, Alex ordered. The Horizon fired, not the expected energy beam, but a concentrated pulse that passed through the Krell ship like a ghost. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, system by system, the dreadnought went dark. What did we just hit them with? Asked Gomes, watching in amazement. Dimensional phase disruptor, Kate explained, reading from her console. It shifts their technology slightly out of sync with our reality. They're completely disabled, but the crew is unharmed. The Alliance ships, barely functional themselves, hail the Horizon. Unknown vessels, this is Captain Hall of the UEA Defender. Identify yourselves. Alex stood tall as he responded. Captain, this is Commander Johnson. We're flying the advance units of what you might call an inheritance. Word of their victory spread quickly. Admiral Ford arrived within hours aboard his flagship, his eyes widening as he boarded the Horizon. Johnson, I owe you an apology, he admitted as he examined the ancient technology. And a promotion, I suspect. What we need, sir, is permission to activate more ships, Alex replied. The Krell will regroup. This was just one dreadnought. They have dozens more. Ford nodded gravely. Do whatever you need to. You just proved these ships work. Now let's see what else they can do. The Krell response came swiftly and brutally. 3 days after their dreadnought was disabled near Jupiter, they launched simultaneous attacks on every human outpost in the solar system. Earth's orbital defenses barely held against the onslaught. They're afraid, Lisa observed as she studied the attack patterns. They recognized the ancient ships, and now they're trying to overwhelm us before we can activate more. On the bridge of the Horizon, Alex watched the tactical display with growing concern. 6 ancient ships, no matter how advanced, couldn't defend the entire solar system. Araya, how many more vessels can we bring online immediately? He asked. 7 additional ships are at minimum operational capacity, the AI responded. However, I have calculated an alternative approach. The fleet was designed with a cascade activation protocol. Meaning? Prompted Alex. I can broadcast a signal that will awaken all dormant vessels simultaneously. However, the energy requirements are substantial, and the process will leave the active ships vulnerable for approximately 12 minutes. Kate looked up from her engineering station. 12 minutes is a lifetime in battle. The Krell would destroy us before the other ships came online. Ryan, who had been monitoring communications, suddenly straightened. Commander, emergency transmission from Admiral Ford. The Krell have broken through Mars defenses and are heading directly to Earth. Estimated arrival: 6 hours. Alex made his decision. We need to activate the entire fleet now. It's our only chance. Commander, Araya interjected, there is another consideration. The ships will activate, but most will be unmanned. The 6th civilization designed them to accept human pilots, but the neural interfaces require training. We don't have time for training, Alex said. Can they operate automatically? At reduced efficiency, yes. However, maximum effectiveness requires human connection. Lisa stepped forward. The Alliance Academy has simulator pods that are somewhat similar to the neural interface. We could bring pilots who already have that experience. Make it happen, Alex ordered. And get me Admiral Ford again. Within 4 hours, 50 of the Alliance's best pilots had boarded the Horizon for crash course training on the ancient neural interfaces. The process was brutal. Several washed out within minutes, unable to handle the mental strain. But 38 adapted, their minds learning to work with the ancient systems. It's like the ship becomes your body, explained pilot Diane Wells after her successful connection. You don't fly it, you are it. As Earth's defenses reported the approaching Krell fleet, 15 dreadnoughts with fighter escorts, Alex gathered his team for one final briefing. ARIA will initiate the cascade activation in 30 minutes. The moment the fleet comes online, each of you will take command of a vessel. Our primary objective is to keep the Krell away from Earth until the entire fleet is operational. Kate had been working with the engineering team around the clock. We've optimized the power distribution. The vulnerability window should be down to 8 minutes, but that's still going to be rough. 8 minutes is better than 12, Alex said. We can hold them that long. The Horizon took position at the front of the small formation of ancient ships, facing the direction from which the Krell would arrive. Behind them, thousands of dormant vessels waited in their orbital pattern around the dying star. Signal from Earth, Ryan reported. Krell fleet has entered Mars orbit. They're moving faster than anticipated. Alex took a deep breath. ARIA, begin the activation sequence. The Horizon's engines dimmed as power redirected to the communication array. A pulse of energy, invisible but felt by every sensor in the system, emanated from the ship. Across the ancient fleet, lights began to flicker on. Energy levels at 20% and falling, Kate reported. 7 minutes until systems returned to normal. Krell fleet detected, called out Ryan. They've found us. On the view screen, the massive Krell armada appeared, dropping out of faster-than-light travel directly in front of them. The lead dreadnought fired immediately, a lance of energy that the weakened Horizon could barely evade. 5 minutes, Kate counted down. Alex gripped the command chair. All ships, evasive pattern delta. We just need to survive. The 6 ancient ships, running on minimal power, danced between Krell blasts. One took a direct hit, its systems flickering but somehow remaining operational. The pilots, connected through the neural interfaces, moved with uncanny coordination. 3 minutes, Kate announced as another blast rocked the Horizon. Behind them, the ancient fleet continued to awaken, ship after ship lighting up like stars being born. The space between Mars and Jupiter became a canvas of light and destruction as the newly awakened ancient fleet engaged the Krell Armada. From the bridge of the horizon, Alex watched in awe as thousands of ships moved with perfect coordination, their formations shifting like the murmuration of starlings. "It's beautiful," Lisa whispered, standing beside him. The 38 human pilots who had successfully bonded with the ancient vessels led the attack, their neural connections allowing them to access the full power of the sixth civilization's technology. Behind them, automated ships followed in support patterns, amplifying their effectiveness. "The Krell are retreating," Ryan announced, monitoring the battle from his station. "They're abandoning their attack on Earth and consolidating around their flagship." "They're scared," Kate observed. "Look at their formation. It's purely defensive now." The Krell fleet, which had seemed so overwhelming just hours before, now appeared small and vulnerable against the vastness of the ancient armada. 3 of their dreadnoughts had already been disabled, their crews abandoning ship in escape pods. "HFY," Alex called. "What's the status of the fleet?" "All vessels are now operational, Commander. The human-piloted ships are performing at 93% efficiency, far beyond my projections. The automated vessels are at 67%. Alex nodded. "Prepare a pursuit course. We need to end this before they can regroup." The chase lasted less than a day. The ancient fleet, moving with impossible speed, followed the retreating Krell back to their home system. What they found there changed everything. "This can't be right," Lisa said, staring at the sensor readings of the Krell homeworld. "These atmospheric toxins, the radiation levels, their planet is dying." "Not just dying," Araya corrected. "Being killed. The Krell leadership has been strip mining their world for centuries to build their war machines." Alex looked at the images of the Krell planet, once beautiful, now scared with massive industrial complexes that belched poison into the skies. "They're not just conquerors, they're refugees. They need new worlds because they've destroyed their own." The remaining Krell ships had formed a last defensive line around their homeworld, prepared for a final stand. "They expect us to destroy them," Ryan said quietly, "just as they tried to destroy us." Alex was silent for a long moment, thinking of everything ARIA had shown him about the previous cycle of human civilization, how it had ended in fire and death. "No," he finally said. "We're going to break the cycle. Araya, open a channel to the Krell flagship." The alien commander who appeared on screen looked different from the others they had seen. Older, with battle scars across its face. Human, it spoke through the translator. "You have come to end us, as was prophesied. The ancient destroyers return." "No," Alex replied firmly. "We've come to offer terms. Your people will withdraw from all human territories. You will never again attack a human world. In return, we will help you." The Krell commander's multiple eyes blinked in what might have been confusion. "Help us? With what?" "With this," Alex said, and nodded to Lisa. She transmitted the data they had discovered, details of the ancient technology that could repair ecosystems, clean atmospheres, and restore dying worlds. "Your ancestors nearly wiped out humanity because they feared our power," Alex continued. "But the people who built these ships didn't leave them as weapons of vengeance. They left them as guardians to protect future generations and to ensure that the mistakes of the past weren't repeated." The Krell commander was silent for a long time before responding. "And if we refuse? Then we have enough firepower to reduce your world to ash," Alex said bluntly. "But that's not what we want. The cycle of destruction has gone on long enough." 3 days later, on the surface of the Krell homeworld, Alex stood facing the Alien Leadership Council as they signed the formal peace treaty. Around them, ancient ships had already begun the work of healing the planet's atmosphere. Back on the horizon, Lisa had made another discovery. "Alex, look at this," she said when he returned, pointing to a star chart ARIA had revealed. "These markers show the locations of other fleets, dozens of them, scattered throughout the galaxy." "More ships?" he asked, surprised. Not just ships, archives, libraries. The sixth civilization didn't just leave us weapons. They left us their knowledge, their history, their technology. They left it all hidden in plain sight, waiting for us to be ready.